10 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Welcome everybody here to your coverage of the ESL One Frankfurt European Qualifier. We are approaching the end very, very rapidly. For the details of all the competitions, of course, you can check out all the qualifiers across Southeast Asia, China, Europe, as well as the Americas. You can check out ESL1.joindota.com for all the details there. But to let you guys know where we're up to, we're in the lower bracket. It's kind of like the last round of it before we go into our semifinals and then the grand final. So we just call this the quarterfinals of the lower part of the bracket, where NiP goes up against Team Tinkerino to see who will advance forward to play up against Navi. The winner of that then gets to play for the last remaining European slot for ESL One Frankfurt. Let's get into the game because I know that's the reason you guys came here. We are underway with NiP starting over on the Dire side. Team Tinkerino will be over on the Radiant side. First pick going to NiP, and it has started. So, let's see how the draft's going to come down. Obviously, NiP, they are fresh off their trip from the Americas. They were able to claim third position behind Team Empire as well as EG in the Joint Dota MLG Pro League, which was a hell of a lot of fun to cast. Also, great insight into the way NiP play. Got some time to sit down, have a chat with the boys. Not a lot of time, but also enough time just to work out their mindsets, and a lot of it just comes down to laning presence. So the main thing you're going to be looking for when it comes to this drafting phase is, mainly from NiP, how do they basically win all lanes? This is the reason why they love running heroes like Lina, because they just know the presence of the lane is so aggressive. They're the ones that dictate the terms. They don't just sit back and wait for the farm to happen and play this CS game, because you're up against a player like Black in Team Tinker, who is not a player you let just sit back and farm. Things go horribly, horribly wrong when you do that. And Pylai Dai is drafting that way for him as well, so he's making sure that Black can find that space. It's the reason why you probably see that Sniper, for multiple reasons you see the Sniper banned out early on, but Sniper is one of those heroes that Black has been playing. They've also been experimenting around with Faceless Void, as well as a couple of other heroes, the Black heroes, really, the anti-mage and things like that. Heroes which Black really likes to play. For also another ones is the man who is listed as the Bloody Pink Panther. That is in fact Bulba, who is the offlaner for Team Tinkerino, and then Way Too Sexy is Flo, I believe is our players. I will double check, but I'm fairly certain that is who it is. It also could be Pink Panther is Way Too Sexy, and Bulba is in fact Flo. But yes, I've asked for clarification on that one. Hopefully I'll get it cut if you want to do some digging as well. He is in my stats man. Okay, yeah, he in fact already has done it. So Bulba is in fact Flo, and Way Too Sexy is the Pink Panda. I really wish I could control and change these names. Yeah, so Phoenix, Axe, as well as Juggernaut. Axe and Phoenix being put together in the same lineup is instantly going to flag that it's going to be a Phoenix support. No surprise whatsoever here from Hanskin. He'll be picking up the Lina. Very stable hero. Really, Limp has been absolutely amazing with that. They played in both the mid as well as the safe lane. The only place they haven't put it is the off lane with the Vengeful Spirit and Skywrath Mage. NiP could potentially even get away with, I won't say a dual lane in the mid, but you could zone out whoever's going to be coming to that middle lane with the Skywrath Mage. Just a couple of orbs, and then let Lina do the rest of the work after you've already affected the consumables, the health-giving items to the mid-solo of Team Tinkerino. Vengeful Spirit should just be the normal pulling and stacking and all that kind of jazz that you'll do as a safe lane hero. The Juggernaut, safe lane hero as well, so that's going to be our farmer for Black. Ninjas of Pajamas shouldn't be feel too threatened by that one for their offlaners. You do lose a lot of the options for your offlaners, as the Bat Rider and the Clockwork have been taken out, but there are still so many options that NiP play that there's not even point any listing them. It's just listing the ones which got banned out. We'll wait and see what they want to throw into that lane. Up against the Juggernaut, you can take anyone with range. If it's a Phoenix support, someone that might be able to tank up a little bit more, or at least regenerate a little bit faster, that'll be all you'd really ask for. Lion's going to be our second support now from Team Tinker. So they've got themselves the Disable. Without actually looking at the NiP cores, they do have that way to burst damage down heroes like Lina. Of course, once they have their Aghanim Scepter, then it's a little bit harder to burst it down because you got a lot of life behind that Lina. But you can go Blinks, Yules, Aghanims, or just straight Yules and Aghanims, because Lina's got very, very high movement speed, especially when she's cast a couple of abilities. But at this point, we get a Shadow Fiend pickup. So more than likely, they'll be in the hands of Era on the safe lane. There'll definitely be Limp playing up the Lina. There's no way they're going to switch that one up. But it could be the Lina safe lane. So Lina safe lane up against someone like an Axe and Vengeful Spirit. Too easy. The middle lane, they can wait and see. Pylai Dai has to pick up his last hero. So Ninjas in Pajamas will get to see most of the lanes of Team Tinker before it comes out. The only thing which might be a little bit more perilous to Ninjas in Pajamas is if they run the Skywrath as well as the Lina, or the Lina and the Vengeful Spirit on the safe lane. You got a combo to strike with, but you don't really have a lot of HP behind those two heroes. So someone like a Phoenix and a Juggernaut, for example, could actually run that top lane. And with the Healing Ward and the harassing sprites from the Phoenix, you could potentially contest the lane quite nicely with just the two heroes. And Centaur's the final ban out, so Team Tinker thinking about the tanky kind of guy that can be played by the offlaner of NiP. And Zeus the last one. So that's the burst damage, which would have caused a lot of problems for VS and Skywrath Mage and Lina. If he was able to get it, if he actually was run as a mid solo and got himself a Refresh Orb and Aghanim Scepter upgrade, then NiP would start every single fight at maybe 20-30% HP. Or a dead support hero. Or all of the above. So NiP, last hero pickup. What are you going to reveal? What's going to be your mid solo? You're not going to run an Axe there. You're definitely not going to run a Juggernaut in the mid up against a Shadow Fiend. Because with the Skywrath Mage, you'll just get zoned out of the lane too early. So you need to have, like, this hero will be their mid solo, which reveals our lanes. It reveals the fact that Axe will be the off lane, Juggernaut will be the safe lane, Phoenix will be supporting top, and Lion will be supporting bottom, and not try and get away with the dual lanes. And the reason why I also say that is because I don't see Phoenix doing anything really in the jungle, or the rotation doesn't really achieve anything, so he's more of that aggressor, get up in their face. Templar Assassin, nice hero to pick up against the Shadow Fiend. And then Ninjas in Pajamas, final hero. They need an offlaner. Either that or they run an aggro tri-lane, also not beyond them. In fact, actually, whoa, hold the phone. Yeah, they could actually do that. They got Luna in the pool. And Ninjas in Pajamas do like doing that, especially with the Vengeful Spirits. The VS Skywrath Luna could try running an aggro tri-lane up against a Lion and Phoenix. I wouldn't see too much of a problem, especially when it's a Juggernaut safe lane. What's he going to do? Spin at you? Screw that. You just beat him down. Then you can run the leader on the safe lane one-on-one up against the Axe, and Shadow Fiend can play in that mid-solo role. Yeah, that would actually be really effective. No Luna ban out would avoid the whole situation of having to have a weak lane with an off lane in which you weren't really planning on using. We'll see if Hanskin wants to go for it. He knows the middle lane's now going to turn into a battle for farm. They could always pick up something which we did see earlier today in the Southeast Asian scene. That was put up by Team Malaysia, where they ran a core, I'm going to say a core off laner, because it was still Ohio that was playing the Wind Ranger off lane. But it's a very, very nice hero for control and tower pushing purposes, which NiP don't have. That's the other reason why my mind went to the Lina. Shadow Fiend as well as Lina can dish out a fair amount of damage to that tower, one with the aura, and two, once they get a decent amount of farm, they can mop up creep waves very quickly between the two of them. And then just push. Yeah, Hanskin taking some time on his last pickup. I don't know if they really want to commit. There's a lot on the line for this game. You're already dropped down to the lower part of the bracket, and it wasn't an easy run for these two teams. The way they actually ended up going down was a 2-1 loss to VP Polar. That was Team Arena sorry, that was NiP that lost that game. Apollo then 2-0'd Empire, which is the team that beat out Tinker. So Tinker ends up going up against NiP because Empire took them out 2-1, and that was their path down into the lower part of the bracket. They'd have to beat through some of the qualifying teams, and whoa, hello. Core Enigma. So Era will take the Shadow Fiend. Yunus and Farm is going to be that Enigma, and then Limp into the role as the Lina. Team Marino, Tinkerino. We'll have Bulba, who will be that offlane axe. No surprise there whatsoever. Way too sexy on the Lion. Then their final heroes. Wait, yeah. So it is 100% bot Phoenix. Nothing about it. And Coif will be taking that Templar Assassin in towards the middle lane. So should be a great game. We've actually got ourselves a lot of combinations from Ninjas in Pajamas. Ninjas in Pajamas are kind of drafted into a position where if they don't win by about 40 minutes into the game, or if they're not like clearly you've taken out 2 cores, then you're in a hell of a lot of troubles. You're in a hell of a lot of troubles. Because there's the Juggernaut, the Templar Assassin axe will end up overing you. There's just no way around that one. So let's get into our game. Yeah, but this is something which NiP really do a lot of. We always say like NiP draft themselves to win or to lose. Primarily because if like you look at the NiP lineup and you say, well, okay, what kind of strength, what kind of tank ability do they have into the later portion of the game? Like, it doesn't really exist. They got a lot to play around with because you do have that Lina, the VS and Skywrath. Like that's great kill combination lane. And then the Shadow Fiend, great flash farmer. His mid games can be wonderful. Enigma, you can't really stop him farming up in the jungle, but he's not going to be there this time around. It's all about controlling the off lane with the Enigma, because if he goes into the jungle, you're going to start to double stack and get really crowded inside the jungle, because Era's looking for massive amounts of sacks to come in, flash farm it, and then go back into the mid lane. It's not one of these catch-up mechanisms, even though it can be used as such. It's meant to be this push him forward and just have huge amounts of money on a Shadow Fiend that then cannot be stopped. You're looking for that unstoppable force. Era's going to attempt to be that. Alright, as far as Team Reno, Tinkerino, we got Bulba heading up as that axe to the top lane. Pylite Die will be the Phoenix, so it looks like red lane's 100% right. There's going to be a safe lane black with support way too sexy Lion. And then Templar Assassin, the final one. And yep, Enigma off lane. SF towards the mid. And then that safe lane Lina. Didn't make as much sense to put her in, put SF up on that top lane. Not as strong up against the axe, and he would have been okay because the supports are there. But Limp just prefers the Lina matchup in mid, on safe lane. When you have someone like this melee hero, because he knows just how much damage he can do. He knows with just a simple rotation in from a Vengeful Spirit, the 2 of them can find a kill. And that will allow the Skywrath Mage to babysit Era in the early stages. Which wouldn't have really been the kill combination you were searching for before. Because if you don't want to rotate the Vengeful Spirit down to the mid lane every time you want to gank with the Lina. Where you can Magic Missile, Light Strike Array follow-up, Slave, Wave of Terror, all that kind of jazz. The beautiful combinations you're searching for from NiP. Let's get ourselves underway. That's a really nice axe, or I should say scythe. Is it actually listed as a scythe? The Red Mist Reither's Scythes. Oh, no dedication. It's just a rando gift from a friend. That's like I like the item over on Steelkid. It looks a little bit chunky for a blade though. Weapon of the Banished Princess. Looks kind of cool. All right, so Paladai, up you come. Top lane Phoenix for him. And they're going to try and burn through as much of this life of axe as possible. As Steelkid will see. That creep wave not really blocked up properly, which means Limp's going to lose his range creep from the very, very start. Already Bulba, and luck might be his way with that nice little stump. He's getting up in the face of Limp, but this is that combination I was talking about. You try and control the axe, make him burn through his consumables, let him spin all he wants, because it's going to push the creep wave underneath the tower, and that works the way of NiP. Yes, they won't find as many last hits because the timing is a little bit more difficult. So Limp has, okay, he still is going to take, I want to see how many he gets here. That's 2 out of 4. 3 out of 4. Yeah, you can't get that one. Range creep dying too fast. But 3 out of 4 underneath the tower is not too bad. But it pushes up so Lina can find the levels. And that's what she's searching for. Because when the levels come up, heroes like the Phoenix, Pylite Dice have a very, very hard time because he's sacrificing his life to use these Fire Spirits to try and get up in the face of NiP. But most of their damage comes from the magical casting of abilities. So they don't worry too much about the right clicks coming out from NiP. They know it's all about the control. Yes, the physical damage is what you need to finish the job, but beyond that, you're okay. Middle lane, 6-4 up against 4-2. Era's having a great time up against Coitfa. And a good pull time coming out from NiP. They're going to drag that entire dark creep wave over. Unfortunately for Pylai Die, those sprites won't aggro the creep wave. So most of this wave, in fact, it's already taken a large amount of damage, is going to get denied. It's already hard enough running a dual off lane but until you have a full creep wave and a bit being denied off. And Unison Farm getting very aggressive over in the Radiant jungle. Already managed to find 2.5 levels. He's just being more of a nuisance than anything else. He knows he can't stop Black from farming, but he can definitely compete for the levels. And with his sacrificing, I say sacrificing, the demonic conversion, he's not a lich. He's able to hold the creep wave back too, and then use those conversions to contest up against the supports. That's the reason why Lion dropped so low. And the bottle charge from Koitva, I don't know if he gave a couple over, but looks like he did. Oh, there's that orb again. Luckily for Koitva, he's got those defensive refraction charges. Unison Farm getting attacked again, but when he's got the conversion army right next to him, it's very difficult to get on top. And look at Black, he just sees money. Like, that's all he sees is walking money, but a good denial. Ends up denying up a little bit of that. Black still comes in deeper for it. Any part of the creeps wave which he can get extra cash out of, he'll always work for. Hunskin's going to be forced back. It's way too sexy to try and chase him. Concussive shot will slow him down. So it won't matter. Even with the Axe having movement speed of 290, like, you're getting range of the Skywrath Mage. Okay, they do have the Hex, as well as the follow-up sum. This will be your first blood right here. Hunskin's got nothing he can do apart from deny himself to the Ancients, but he won't make it there in time. So first blood spilled by Team Marino Tinkerino and Ninjas in Pajamas. Not the greatest time in the world for them. But their laning is still looking quite good. The golden experience is going to be going the other way, like a little bit up and down. But you're getting some really good stacks being prepared. Pull down from Pylai Die, just trying to beat and use this to the creep wave. They get a stun off, but this just allows Steel Kid to throw in some harassment damage. Not much more than this. And then even takes the aggro, so we can pull 2 of the creeps back over and deny them off again. So Pylai Die's turned into this core role, while Bulba ended up just moving into the jungle. That era, how long will it be? How many stacks have we got? None, none, 1. That's all we've really got. So not that much to play around with for era as far as his flash farming. We are only 4 minutes in, and the 2 supports have been pretty busy. It's all about controlling the lanes from Pylai Die. Well, he's going to drag the creep wave over with those sprites. Quite successful at doing so, which means now a little bit of experience being missed out on by NiP. And a good creep wave that's going to fly in. Yeah, Lena's trying to get rid of this as quickly as possible. They didn't get the catapult as well as the range creep, however. Okay, now he will. The aggro was lost. So Limp, he's wanting to try and slave this last bit of... Yeah, he's waiting for it. Nope. He's going to right-click it down the old-fashioned way. Middle lane, Koitva, got to be careful. There's smoke movement coming in from Seal Kid, plus friend, which is Hanskin. And he's moved up far enough now. Now they can get the concussive shot off. They'll slow him down long enough to get the wave of terror. Okay, they're a little bit too deep here because they didn't start with the magic missile. And Hanskin's taking too much damage. Seal Kid's dead. They went way too deep here in Ninjas in Pajamas. And I mean, on second kill coming the way of Team Marino Tinkerino. And it's also quite aggressive to dive onto a hero who had a double damage rune just sitting inside that bottle. They had to get the magic missile off, starting with the wave of terror. Not exactly what had to happen there. But Unison Farm is now farming up the Ancients. His safest way to find farm, especially as Black is rapidly approaching that level 6. Even with an army of conversions there, well, I suppose most of the conversions could tank up everything. You've only got 3 jumps at the level 1 Omni Slash. But he still doesn't want to take the risk of the Juggernaut letting rip on the Omni Slash. So nice rune. It's gonna be a haste rune. This will allow Bulba to hunt if he wants to. No, he's not going to. He backs up. They've got no vision on the other side of the river. The vision right now of the Radiant side is pretty restricted to the bottom lane. This one's about to time out. Obviously, we're hitting a 6-minute mark, so most of the wards will. But they put a fresh one on the lane to watch when Enigma falls back. It's like NiP put a fresh one down here to see when Enigma's going to get ganked up by that axe. Speaking of gank, movement coming down from Hanskin. I'm not going to say this is really a gank, though. You got concussive shot and you've got an arcane orb. That's not enough to find a kill, but he's there at the right time for the sentry ward. Era in the middle lane. The stun with the metal strike. He's already lost all of his armor. Limp trying to buy some space here up against Koitfa, but unable to do so. And there's no way you can chase this one. Limp knows it. TA traps should be all over this mid lane. So it's a danger world for ninjas in pajamas. They gotta stop diving like this, but at least they got some good flash farming. Oh, there's that Omni slash we're talking about. Just easy free gold. Surprised he actually allowed himself to be that isolated. That's really weird for Hunskin. And Paladise even now finding levels on top lane. The top two net worths belong to the Templar Assassin as well as Juggernaut. Like, we would have expected something like that from Black, but the fact that Koitfa has just curb stomped the Shadow Fiend down means that all these camps, they don't turn into getting ahead camps, they turn into catch-up camps. And still, that's not going to be enough. Like, he's got the two razors right now. Number one, number two, boom, nice flash farming. As Lena gets the kill on top. Is that Laguna? Yeah, Laguna was up. Just trying to watch the SF, because that kill on the Phoenix doesn't really mean that much. Like, it was going to happen anyway. It should have happened a long time before that. That's the first kill that NiP have got on the board. And it took him 8 minutes to get it. Neema's got a nice Salami behind him. If he can actually get that Maleficent into a black hole, he'll have a solo kill over on way too sexy. But mismicroing the conversions, it's not moving over in time. In fact, now it's going to be the Axe who'll come in. And Yunus, he's dead. The Axe, well, he's losing a little bit of life, but not enough. But now all of these conversions are going to get farmed up. And the money coming in for Team Marino, Tinkerino is so good. There's no way NiP can keep up with this if they keep feeding over the farm. Yes, you've managed to have the SF catch up in CS as well as net worth. Just because of that farming up inside the jungle. But you're giving free money over to now a Juggernaut. It looks like he's going to go into a Mask of Madness build. And remember, NiP were the ones that were meant to be crushing the early game with their lineup. They're the ones who do not have the late game in this matchup. Not with this draft. So they have to get aggressive. Magic Missile stun. Laguna plays back off cooldown again, so Paladai will die for a second time. Whoop, into the Nova. But they can attack him out. Limp's already got 1 point up in Fiery Soul, so the attack speed's more than enough. And after casting both of her abilities, she's fine. At least Unison Farm's doing a pretty decent job of this bottom lane. Sure, he's got one death to his name, but that's acceptable. Phoenix has the same, Phoenix has two now to her name. And how we look at overall, 2,000 gold in favor of Team Marino Tinkerino. This is without a tower advantage. Experience is coming back the way of NiP. Nothing but mud golems. That's not what Era wanted to find. Can't flash farm them. Which is the reason why he's not waiting to stack and try and be efficient with it all. Are they going to group up and smoke? There we go. We got no smoke on the heroes, but what we do have is way too sexy, a long way up. Seal Kid trying to avoid that stun. That's the reason why he didn't just run directly at Era. And they're going to seal. Nope, they don't. Phoenix will jump in, throwing out the sprites, and Hanska getting destroyed by Koitfa. This Templar Assassin must be stopped. She's 3-0. If this continues the way it's been going so far, NiP will lose this game. And they won't even get to wait up until the 35-40 minute mark when the heroes start becoming less effective. They're going to lose it a lot sooner than that because Koitfa is just going to rip apart NiP. He's already managed to pick up 2.8k. I'm not 100% certain what item he's searching for. BKB isn't a bad one until Lena's able to pick up that Aghanim Scepter. Then it's pure damage against him. But once he does have that, then there's no seals, there's no stuns, there's nothing like that which can control him apart from Black Hole. The setup with the Yule Scepter from Alina might be able to cause some troubles for him though. And that's why I'm wondering if he just goes for a little bit more aggression. And what do we got? Yeah, it is. In fact, it's going to be that. Koitfa picks up the Blink Dagger, as well as having 2 Observer Wards. So jump across the map, get up in the face of NiP, and keep the movement going forward. Means he can keep up with Axe, who is about to farm up enough money once he takes this little bit of Centaurs. He'll also have his Blink Dagger available. Not 100% why he waited. He'll go back to base, regenerate back up, and then come back out with the rest of the team. Now they're also giving space to Way 2 on top lane. NiP are too cautious to try and engage on this. When the Axe is missing and the Templar Assassin is also missing, they have vision of watching Templar Assassin run down to the bottom lane. But this is merely a rune move. And when those two heroes are missing, it's easy to assume they could just be like around here. So coming up for the Lion, it's just too risky for him. Now NiP, they do have that Yule Scepter over on Lina now. She'll TP down in a moment. They don't have anything to really bring down Roshan because she went the mech for the Enigma. So if you're going to go for this early mech, it has to be a push style. That means these tier 1 towers have to die very, very quickly. And then they go into gank and fight kind of style. Because with the Yule Scepter over on Limp, you have the same thing over on Era. He's going to blow up his ulti, but Kuiper, he still had a refraction charge up. They're going to swap Kuiper back in again, but it's into the Nova. And Era, the call from Bulba, able to buy the space. You're still going to lose out. As Kuiper did end up going down, but Seal Kid ticking as well. The Culling Blade. Bulba's just going to get in range. The Black Hole's going to keep him out of it, though. One wave of terror, but how much damage have they got? It's not enough. Bulba will be dying into the orb attack. But you've still lost 2 for the price of 2. Lina's moved in. Laguna Blade, no one's really low enough. Maybe the Lion is. Now the Juggernaut is. With the Yule set up into the Lion Strike array. Nice rotation. And Limp's now 3 for 0 and a critical kill. They stopped the Templar Assassin in her tracks. And that was the Shadow Fiend that got that too. Yes, he died, but look at the purchase which he was able to do before death. That's the Yule Scepter there. Considering the Requiem of Souls was practically a failure, which isn't really his fault. It's impossible to know when the refraction charges are up or not, unless, well, not impossible. Just not very easy when you're trying to start with a big initiation like that. But that's going to give NiP some good momentum. In fact, you see the top 2 now. Lina as well as Shadow Fiend. Up they come. As far as net worth, Lina again, they're going to find the Templar Assassin. There's still some defensive refraction charges, but they're not going to last long. Up in the air. Whoop. Don't know who that guy is, but that's going to be the Templar Assassin going to go down. And Kuiper, okay, he's running, but the Axe call, here goes Bulba, Finger of Death, able to help bring down the Lina. The Wave of Terror will also kick in. It's a double kill going the way of Kuiper with that Meld Strike. And NiP, they're not happy with that. Movement's going to come over towards the Shadow Fiend. And they got another call. Nice VS swap. Going to buy Era some space. Still no Requiem Assaults available. Also doesn't have Mag Soul, so Era, one more attack from Kuiper. The sprites are coming in as well as the Sun Ray, and that's going to be the death there of the Shadow Fiend. And NiP just having to get the hell out of here. Well, Team Arena, Tinkerino. They have taken a little bit of damage. Kuiper, he's going to blink over the top of the tower. I was wondering if he's going to walk straight past it. But NiP, they're in no real position they can fight this. With no Black Hole, yes, you got the Yule Scepters as well as the mech. But it'll take too long to TP your entire team on top of that tier 1 tower. You have delayed TPs. 2 of them are going to come in, and Bulba just wants to jump. It's over on Limp. A Laguna Blade will be enough to kill off Bulba. It's not going to happen. Into that Nova, buy themselves some space. Light Strike Array, they have to burn through, and there it is. Laguna Blade with the Mystic Flare. They got through the refraction charges. The Nova will still be something over on Seal Kip. He's got a swap available if he needs to get himself out of here. In fact, just swaps the TP out from Way Too Sexy. And this is NiP's revenge time. They take out 3 on the top. They deny the tier 1 tower as well. And a terrific fight for NiP. They take everything and give nothing back. So now NiP, they can push themselves. A little bit of an army of conversions. Remember what I said before about Lina too. The ability to mop up these creep waves is very, very simple. Yes, it'll cost you 175 mana, but the creep wave gets disintegrated straight away. That's just the 4-4 combo with the Light Strike as well as the Slave. Tier 1 tower. Attempted denial there from Pylai Die. A little bit too early. Meanwhile, Black farming up. Can't forget about him. It's too easy to. He just sits on the sideline, just does absolutely nothing. I say absolutely nothing as far as the rest of his teamwork goes. Well, nice dive down, but it's too late. Seal Kid, Wave of Terror is going to reveal that Pylai. He lost the vision at the last moment. There it is, being revealed, and Pylai stun him up. And there's no TP away to safety, but what there is for Team Arena Tinkerino is working with Black as well as Kuiper. So Kuiper takes up the initial damage, because he's got the refraction charge as a meld strike. With that Mask of Madness from Black, he gets all of his life back. And that is going to be a very quick Roshan with the Aegis Immortal into the hands of the Templar. But she'll be able to safely move across the map and potentially also gank behind that tier 1 tower, which appears to be the next choice here of Team Tinker. With no backdoor regeneration, NiP will throw it out anyway. And here comes your TP. Shadow Blade from Limp. This can be a good initiation. Light Strike and Laguna. Bulba never even saw it coming. That was a fresh Shadow Blade pickup. And Limp loves things like that because it's a way where you can initiate without requiring a Blink Dagger from Alina. It's a nice increase of damage, which combines nicely with your Fiery Soul. But you can walk in and you cast your Light Strike Array and you won't be brought out of invis until you actually cast it. Now we can do it all over again. All you need is that target to stand still. And bada bing, bada black. Dead to the world. This movement from NiP, it's so brutal. They're going to have a crack at mid where Unison Farm is a little bit too far out. He does already use the mech. And, okay, well, they commit Figure of Death. He'll die the Battle Hunger. So, a nice revenge kill. But that's your safe lane farmer for the offlaner of NiP. Not the greatest trade-off in the world. But you do get more money into the Templar Assassin, which is important. Just trying to make the most out of this Aegis Immortal. Whoops, sent up in the air. Light Strike, Mystic Flare, and goodbye Bulba. And he had a really great start to this game. A good couple of calls here and there. But now NiP, they're calling his bluff. They come in, they just yules him up into the air, or they just start with the Light Strike Array. Laguna after Laguna, or if you're going to commit it, you can. And that's that critical moment too. That pure damage ultimate from Lina, which goes on the cooldown every 50 seconds. You can throw out at 900 range, 950 damage, pure damage as well, at a very cheap cost. Koifa, I need to get through those refraction charges first before Limp can really do anything there. And to do that, you're going to require either the Mystic Flare of the Skywrath Mage or somebody else, but this will work. Light Strike, boom. Got him!
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
And this will be the death for tier 1 tower. Look how quick it drops too. When you have 3 points up in that Fiery Soul, so attack speed bonus of 85 and max stacks of 3, that's still attacking really, really fast. And with quite a considerable amount of damage. What player is the most games with Shadowblade on Lina? Hint, he's a CIS player. Well, I'm gonna say it's Sergey. I'm gonna say it's God. That's where my mind goes to. Yeah, it's a pretty easy guess. Because God is the most CIS acclaimed player for Lina. It's pretty simple. Oh, only 6 games. Dandy is 5. Okay, that's actually pretty close. That Limp goes on the hunt again, but he's shadowblading underneath the observer wards of the Radiant side. Look how aggressive these things are. Right in front of the tier 2 towers. This is what happened when they, well maybe not this one, but this one definitely, when they won their fight up on top and started pushing into the tier 2. They wanted to know what NiP was going to bring at them as they retreated out. Alright, how long we got left on, well, I guess the Immortal's still got another minute and maybe 20 seconds. But Team Tinker try and do something with it. All 5-man smoke. Look for the opening and they find Seal Kid. He's going to break the smoke and got to get out of here now. Turns, breaks the secondary smoke, and then jump up. That's going to be way too sexy. They could just let him go. Nice call from Bulba. Catching out Era. The Finger of Death will come out too. Era up in towards the air. He can blink when he hits the ground, or maybe he can't. Not straight away. The Culling Blade will connect. The Vengeful Spirit's gone down. And Ninjas in Pajamas split 2 ways to the wind. 2 to the west, 1 to the east. And poor little Limp tries to hide himself right on top of a Radiant Observer ward. That's not where he wants to be. And they'll see his positioning. But they won't be able to kill him. He moves further down, then TP's away to safety. And currently, NiP 15 to 13. Who's really got the advantage here? 2.5, 2.75k. Where the net worth going the way of Team Tinker. Nothing in the experience. This is still anyone's game. That's a real all-out brawl too, because NiP know they need to fight. And Team Tinker, They don't need to fight, but with the progression of Black, it's not looking that terrific. And Lina can, in fact, will become a really great mid-game fighter. Black, okay, if Limp's going to go for this, he has to Yule Scepter it. Because he knows when the creep wave's not there, then Black's going to keep moving around a little bit more sporadically. So it's difficult to land that Light Strike array. And if you don't land it and with no creep wave there, he could just turn around and Omni Slash you. The Lina now, is that the full Ags? It's almost the full Ags. 250 gold and then she's got it. I'm glad we have a view. I'm glad somebody got in the chat. I'm also very, very glad there's a guy called Cows Wear Bras. He's the person who got it. Congratulations. Alright, bottom lane push. Era's kicking in now. Still needs more damage on this Shadow Fiend. A lot more damage on this Shadow Fiend. Unless he can't keep up with the Templar Assassins. Up to 3.2k. So TA can go for a little bit more of a... Okay, well, big call again from Bulba. The Mystic Flare, they have to beat through the Nova, but they cannot do it. Not while Era was called. So they mech charge it up. There is enough mana with that Soul Ring to go in for a black hole, but they just want to TP him out of safety. Hanska gets out. Era will not be so lucky. Enigma, well, Axe overshot the mark. So it will just be the SF to go down. But this is momentum being lost for NiP. They cannot allow to be lost. And Limp is the man that has to work to get it back again. I'd love to just bring down this tower. With all that regeneration, it's very, very simple. Yeah, he actually just forced the fortification already. His creep wave's coming down. And you would force a reaction out. Oh, blink in. Limp, what are you doing here? You knew the reaction was going to come. Now they get the vision. And boom. I thought he maybe felt a little bit more overconfident because of the Shadow Blade, but when you pick up Shadow Blade, you have to be prepared. The counter vision will be coming in. Dust, sentries, whatever. You know, some farms in trouble. The TA trap's going to trigger. An Axe will come up. He needs to get that battle hunger off, so he's going to have the movement speed and use some farm. Actually, the creep wave got aggro down. The black hole's going to go, but it gets stunned up instantly. Era, he doesn't know if there's really anything he can do. He can wind up the ulti. Instead, he's going to go for the razors. They swap Unison farm back towards the tier 2 tower, and Koifa being body blocked up by the Shadow Fiend. Now Era jumps in. Nice raise, killing off Bulba. He's got enough life to survive this, or maybe not. Koifa eating through him with that negative 12 armor. It's a Desolator that's going to work for Koifa, giving him the kill on the SF. Now the creep wave soaking up the damage, so Seal Kid, he's got a small chance of survival. I say small, it's minute. It's actually decreasing with every single second which passes. Black trying to attack him. Boom, done the job. A double kill for Koifa. What a time for the Desolator to arrive too. And Team Tinker will push in on the tier 2 tower. They're going to try and fight this. The Aghanim Scepter can go to work, but no one's really low enough for this. Yeah, so it is a level 3, so there is that 950. And who's going to kill? Lion. There you go. Slave Laguna. All that's required to kill off the Lion. And it also means that Limp has to show himself somewhere on the lane. Because it's difficult to walk across the map instead of a Shadow Blade. It's not like we're talking about something like Vendetta, or Ghost Walk, or Skeleton Walk. Alright, here's that Skadi soon to arrive for Black. Courier's got to go back to base, but all he really needs to do is just farm up 2 more camps, and he's got enough money to pick it up. Or he can just farm the mid lane, that'll work too. So there's enough for the Orb of Venom. Oh, so for the point booster, and then just 150 gold for the Orb of Venom. And this will do the job. That's one very, very farmed up Juggernaut. And NiP are losing their timing now. Like, if they had a very good start, then maybe Era would have more damage than what he's currently got. It's only a gem sitting over on the Courier, which Seal Kid had to buy. Era needed a lot more than what he's got right now. And Lina, while it is nice having that Laguna Blade, sure, you might be able to pick off the Lion very, very quickly. But the problem is the Templar Assassin and Juggernaut will be able to just survive through it. The Axe probably not. Primarily because he just doesn't have that, even if he does it, the BKB does, it's not going to help him out. Black, boom. Nice kill. Just as far as pure damage goes, NiP can't get the advantage. The only way they can do it is doing what they did just then in the mid. You've got to catch a hero out. Use this invis of Lina to get the upper hand. Probably the other reason why they're purchasing up. Oh, hello, Roshan. Another reason why they're purchasing the gem. So they can make sure these sentries and observers aren't around. And Lina can move quite freely. So the Roshan will be going the way of NiP. Aegis the Immortal to be for there. On a wave of terror in 4 seconds time, but Roshan's going to be dead by then. And Limp is the man to take the Aegis Immortal. They know he's the most critical one. Potentially able to also pick up a Scythe of Vice. So you don't have to rely on the Lion Strike Array to be your first initiator. I'm actually wondering if it might almost be worth it for Limp to find some damage items. The primary reason I say that is just because I'm looking at him and I'm seeing a decent amount of damage coming out. But if he was able to have, I don't want to say a Daedalus. He doesn't really need much more though. Like, you can get a Monkey King bar, but it's not essential. There's no mischance, which you get from Team Tinker. You could go for a full carry build here from the Lina. Or you could just be a little bit more aggressive. At this point in the game too, you could potentially go into something else. Like, actually what Templar Assassin built up. Get yourself a Desolator. Work through the buildings. It also helps to just strip apart the heroes of Team Tinker. It's a cheap item. It's definitely not something you want to hold on for the late game. But there is no late game for NiP, so it works for them. Hanskin staying very, very close to Black. This might be enough to save Unison farm. And Black, he's going to get sealed. Mystic Fled. He's forced to try and fight this one into the Nova on top of the hillside. And the Omni Slash. Well, that's going to be the death of Hanskin. Heroes in the neighborhood. Finger of Death. Dropping Vengeful Spirit low, but the Mel Strike does the rest of the work. And they just have to retreat out of here. Axe, try and chase it. Lion Striker Rail by a little bit of space. In fact, it's really dedicated to getting that kill. He would have triggered the BKB. But Bulba decided against it. There we go. But what did we get? Still 2.2k, so we got nothing yet. Apart from a kill on Pilot Eye. Wow! Reincarnate from that one! Lord! This leader play. Funny thing is too, like we saw over the JD MLG Pro League LAN, the Lina played by EG, like it was Aoi who did it on the finals day, but it was this Light Strike Array Laguna combination that just let him get kills anywhere across the map, and it didn't really require much. Like it was just a simple Yule set, but you can even just walk into most of it. But you can play that as a support hero. The reason why NiP like playing the Lina as a core, it's just because you get that farm up very, very quickly. And it requires, also if you play it as a support, to give him all the space on the top lane and play him basically as a core. Yeah, there's a lot of heroes here. And Yule Scepter up. Black wants to Omni Slash. Light Strike Array was going to keep him away. And he knows there's a lot more support behind NiP. Limp was meant to get the initial frag. And then they move on to buildings. That was the goal. This time now they will be moving on to buildings, but it's a different manner, or are they? That Laguna, yeah, it was the Yule Scepter again. Only just came off cooldown for Limp.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Team Tinker's top lane's pushing in quite nice. That's going to force some kind of reaction from NiP. In fact, Era is already moving up there now. So we're 30 minutes into the game. It's getting closer to potentially a Mana Style, but a little bit of trouble for Steel Kid. Going to get called. That also picked up the creeps on the side, hence there was a higher chance of a spin rate, but only one was really required. And then we'll allow Bulba to get the dunk. So Limp, find your target. Shadowblade, Pilot Eye is retreating on bottom lane. It's not Observe Ward that saw it, it's just the fact that whenever you're feeling just a little bit too far out, does he actually get scouted before he get... No, he's out of range of the Observer Ward.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
The Limp can hide inside the tree line. It's just waiting for someone... It's too juicy, this. This is way too juicy. It just looks like bait. Limp wants someone to show themselves, but they're not going to. Now Pilot Eye is coming back. That's really the one he wants. Shadowblade's about to wear off again. Now the vision for the Dire side is pretty restricted inside that jungle. As Bulba moves over, Johannes. And he's going to see him. Way too sexy, can't reach him in time, however. So committal is high to try and find these kills, not going to be successful. And now Shadow Fiend continues on with the farming, has the full Manta style up and running. A decent time till Roshan. It's only 3 minutes and 20 seconds. It's going to be a very quick spawn for Roshan. And that's within the first 30 seconds of his potential spawn time. Limp. That Dire Observer, he knows where Black is. He doesn't care, he's with a double damage rune. So all he's got to do is just get that Light Strike array. Boom. And then Laguna, Maleficent done. Black can't spin, they commit the hole. It's worth it for the Juggernaut. It's worth it for the space that gets created. Well worth it. Even Era. Invis rune for him. Last time he tried to use an Invis rune on that Templar Assassin, she had Refraction up, and the ulti was, the Invis was useless, and ulti. Era keeps a push going on the top lane. Well, Unison farm. He only just left the Midnight Pulse behind. His conversions are moving over. And they will be able to dish out quite a large amount of damage to this creep wave that's here. It's all about momentum game for NiP. They really should start looking for these wards. But they bought a gem. Why don't they give that one over? What's over? Is that... that one's Pile Dice. But they definitely purchased a gem at some point. I might be wrong. Because they're using so many sentry wards that if they had a gem, that would make no sense to use so many sentry wards. So Falstaff is up in a moment for Lion. Bought the most expensive parts already. And Team Ticket come for the middle lane. It's a level 3 Omni Slash up and running with a Skadi and a Mana style. Because Black wants to try and force it. And Templar Assassin with a full Butterfly available too. NiP have to respond to this. With no black hole, it's going to be difficult to do so. That Lina has to get back to the front lines. Either that or she gets a pick off on the back line. That's the only other way this can work. Neighbor's going to slow him down with a Midnight Pulse. Bit of a pain in the butt. Way! Goodbye, Black. It was really nice knowing ya. And SF, good use up the blink out. They put down the Nova. The BKB will be triggered by the Axe and Era. They want to bring down this Nova, and they're going to be fast enough. Already, you're going to see the death of Pylai die. Axe is on the run, but a blink up. His BKB won't last much longer. He has to walk through the Mystic Flare, and Era blinking perfectly. No denial to the Dark Troll Summoners. And 3 euros lost from Team Tinker. They thought they could go high ground with no black hole. And NiP gave them cause to think twice. And now they will make their push down middle lane. Tier 1 and Tier 2 tower is the objective. Unless Roshan's up, Hanskin's watching it. If he watches for another 12 seconds, he's going to be fine. They're going to see it. But the chance of it spawning up this early is pretty low. What's he going to do? Sit here for another couple of... Oh wow, if he actually waits this out perfectly, they see Roshan. They see he's an early spawner. So they can just move up and take Roshan. They don't care about the side waves. This isn't Aegis and Cheese. This is already our third Roshan now. So it's hugely important for NiP they take this, and they're going to. So quickly and so easily. Presence of the Dark Lord, plus the Medallion of Courage, plus the Wave of Terror. There's just no armor left on the big man. So Limp will leave his bottle behind. That courier should probably turn around and pick it up. And again, the courier is walking around with the empty bottle, so that should be Hanskin. He leaves the sentry ward behind to hold on to this bottle. What are we getting from Pile Die? An attempted Scythe device. And if I don't know if he shouldn't finish this. If NiP win this, he will never finish this. But if Team Tinker will, he will finish it. Nice call. And he also got all the conversions. So where's these spins? Finger of Death into a dunk. That's enough damage to bring down Unison Farm. And hello, Mr. Skadi. This SF's getting bigger and bigger. Is it big enough? That's the question. Well, Templar Assassin Koifer also continues to progress in his items. Lim still hasn't done it. How much has he got? He's got 3.6k. Oh, he bought BTs. He bought BTs. That's where some of his money went into. He's not getting a rapier. I don't care how much you ask for a card. He's never going to give you a rapier. It doesn't make sense in this game. It's too easy for everyone to die, and the rapier wouldn't be effective enough on Alina. Well, Hanskin trying to battle up against Pylai Die. He sealed those, so he comes straight back to where he started. And Hanskin's just trying to kite him. It's got his Rod of Atos off cooldown in 1 second time. Now the TP out, and Pylai Die will be fine. There's no Finger of Death, so this attempt's going to be pretty rough. Well, maybe not. Mel Strike and the Desolator. This is the reason why you do not buy Rapier. But this might also be the reason why you buy something a little bit stronger to keep yourself alive. I don't care if you've even got to go Satanic on this Lina. You need to be able to survive against that. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Lina is very rarely played as a core. And even more rarely going to get to a position where you can afford a Divine Rapier. And so where's Bulba going to search for this opening? Leave Black to push up through the mid. And Team Ticket will try again. This time around though, they will... Wait, hang on. He's going to sell... He's going to sell Soul Ring. Oh no. He's fine. He's fine. Just boost the Traveler back. Blink Dagger's back off cooldown. The jump in from Bulba. The Midnight Pulse as well. VS swapping up Black. Just put the Blink Dagger on the cooldown, but Black trying to run away, but the Laguna Blade, they don't care about the spin. How many times has Black died on the high ground? He just keeps trying to go for it. Now it's up to Bulba. The BKB will go from him, but Skadi Slow still moves through that magic community. Wave of Terror as well, so the negative armor. Two big hero pickups. They may lose one Unison farm, but he paid the BKB out. Templar Assassin's on the run. He wants to kill him, way too sexy. In 7 seconds time, he's able to blink. All they need is that quick slow, then they can throw out the Rod of Atos. Lion's going nowhere but death. Gem of True Sight's also going to be dropped. They want to hold this. But who's got a slot? Skywrath Mage does. He can drop the TP scroll, he doesn't require it. Okay, then I'll use 4 stuff and get Seal Kit up here with it. The 3 big cores from Team Arena Tinkerino down. So tier 2 tower on the top. And that push power from NiP. What's our buyback situation for the Radiant side? Only Templar Assassin. So there is this 27-second window. The fortification going down. Era's already moving into position so we can nuke the creep wave when it arrives. They want to take this tier 3 tower. They'll only have time for the tier 3 tower unless they want to battle. But you do have that Aegis up, or the Mortal up for just 1 more minute. So watch the clock for 40-45. Maybe basically 40-40 is when they have to get out there. But they got the towers. Let's get the hell out of there. You can push the tier 2 tower in the mid lane. You got 1 minute left of the Aegis. So you can leave Era on the front lines. Instead they're going to TP Limp back. So it'll be a little bit more defensive for him. Let's get the hell out. That's a good creep wave coming down mid. But they just didn't want to force the battle. Black's going to go into the Butterfly build, which means Monkey King Bar must be the next item of choice for the Shadow Fiend. And this is when I would actually go for the Monkey King Bar. You got nothing to give you a miss chance, but you want to be able to get every single attack. Actually, no, he goes for the BKB instead. Protection. But not from a hell of a lot. Limp's gonna get out of here. Double force up, blinks over, the smoke's gonna be revealed, and they're after him. Limp to the trees, move faster. The Nova to be used. He's got Yule Scepter available to him. Might buy himself just a little bit more time. Nope! No time is bought. The dunk comes and Lina will die. She could have potentially Yule Scepter herself up if she didn't get dunked at the second she hit the ground. Because that would have allowed her to cheese. And not to be the case, so Lina is down. No buyback available. She bought back for the last fight. And Enigma does the best thing he can do. Creep skip it. You got no creeps left for the Radiant side. He puts his army of convergence there. And that buys NiP maybe 20 seconds. Maybe. But with Razor's Wave of Terror as well as Midnight Pulse, getting up on the high ground is so difficult for Team Tinker. Even when the Lina is down, which yes is a huge amount of their burst damage for NiP, you can't get the creep wave up. So Razors blink away, and now your Midnight Pulse. Koifa can't keep those defensive refraction charges up, and Black, he's sealed up, pushed away, nice call over on the Enigma. But what's really the follow-up? He's already got quite a decent amount of armor. The Nova jump in. I say the Nova jump in. Actually didn't go for the Nova, he doesn't have it up and running. Seal Kit, nice swap, saves the Enigma. They need to keep his black hole up, and in comes Koifa. He needs that kill, he's gonna get it too. Goodison Farm is down for the count. Lina's still down for 16 more seconds. Enigma is back up again. The 4-man hole looks like it's almost good for it, but he BT's over towards the side so he can jump and gets the sun into the black hole. Caught Black as well. They need damage on him right now. Nothing can stop him. There was no follow-up. It was just merely controlled, but it should be enough. Era had to buy back into this fight. Koifa, the Ghost Scepter, keeping Hunskin alive, but Lina is back up and running again. They've got to be careful, especially Black. They're having to run through the Midnight Pulse. Koifa, Light Strike Array. This Templar Assassin is done and dusted. 2 minutes on the sideline. A very long time because he bought back to be part of this. They lose the Lion too, and NiP make a break for the mid. The mid ranks did not go down for NiP, and you got 2 minutes without a Templar Assassin. There is no Roshan available. The bottom lane is pushing in quite nicely for the Radiant side, but the creep wave will deal with that. You'll need everybody. Actually, then again, there's no Omni Slash as well for 44 seconds with no ulti from Juggernaut. Hero's going to mop up the creep wave and just try and beat into the tier 2 tower. Battling backdoor regeneration, but now the creep wave's going to arrive. Full butterfly now done for the Juggernaut. Directly hitting into him is very difficult. And because you're going for the Assault Cuirass on Era, you don't have any direct damage. So here they come. 70 seconds. The man advantage is the way of NiP. They have every ulti apart from Black Hole. Look at Era. He just wants to move up. Put the backdoor regeneration on cooldown and then just take Raxus. Limp should probably even be looking to spam out his slave so he gets those fiery soul charges up. But they take the melee. They'll take the range as well. The Midnight Pulse makes it impossible for any kind of, well, I say blink heroes, but the one blink hero is currently dead. That's where her corpse was. So NiP will defend. Nice time for the supersized meat creeps to spawn up as well as that creep wave just hit the top tower. So that tier 3 tower shouldn't even take any real damage. 34 seconds now until Koifa's alive again. And Bulba jumps in. VS has a swap available if required. As Pylai die, I mean way too sexy. Being stunned up by that magic missile. Also swapping Era back to safety. The Omni Slash very ineffective. The Sunrays try and slow down the push from NiP, but Midnight Pulse about to come back off cooldown again. This will make more of that buffer. Another jump in. The call onto the illusions. 11 seconds until TA is up. So they're just getting the hell out of here. Roshan's alive, so if NiP are fast enough, they can take it. But they'll have to be quick smarts. Grab the illusion rune, leave one up here, leave one over here. Skywrath Mage have a look inside the pit. Skywrath Mage having a look inside the pit. He will have a look inside. Okay. Ninjas in Pajamas will remain oblivious to the fact that Roshan has respawned. But Team Tinker, they're on the hunt. Era's not hanging around though. Most of NiP had to go back and heal. This Templar Assassin's gonna get enough to finish her Monkey King bar. Not just from this creep wave. Look how scared Koifa is. There's so much money there too that he's giving up. Because he's not sure. He's just not sure where the rest of them are. There's Observer Ward in the middle lane. And the TA trap is at least scouting out Limp, but everyone else is Invis. Now the Enigma comes down, and Koifa realizes it. Yeah, she ended up losing very little of that creep wave. He needs another, what's going to be 800 gold now. And then that Monkey King bar will be completed. Buyback isn't available, so we may as well spend the cash. Here comes your TA traps. Locking in nice and deep. Black's moving over as quick as he can. He knows he can solo Roshan now. The NiP, their ward coverage is quite nice. So he's on all sides of the Roche pit, and Black, he just walks in and starts it. The SF just finished up the Assault Cuirass. Blink is available. Units of Farm does not have his black hole. But Koifa, okay, I don't know, he didn't mean to do that. Yeah, he didn't. Blinking on the high ground doesn't achieve anything. That's why they forced off him down. Now they're going to go in. Roshan, he's dead. The Aegis model in the hands of Templar Assassin. They swap up Black. The Midnight Pulse, Laguna Blade, they need more damage. In comes Bulba! 3-man call, perfect into the Nova as well. The follow-up stun from Way 2, catching out Lip as well as Unison Farm. The Nova's going to hit the ground in just a second. They get the spill damages, or the spill stuns, but really, what else is it doing? Lip is still in the middle of this fight, trying to beat the crap out of Pylite Die, stacking up these fiery soul damage charges in Era. Noli's also here. They battle up against Koifa. The BKB to defend himself, but Limp is ripping him apart. Or maybe he can't. They need vision. The stun too far away. Blinked into the tree lines. Unison Farm, where is it? They see him, but it's already too late. The Midnight Pulse comes up. And the TP out is successful. The top lane Creep Wave still pushing in, and Team Tinker, they're down to only 4 men. Buyback is available for all bar the Templar Assassin, so they can make it 5 again. A very short notice. Courier. What's it coming in for? Oh, wait! He dropped the Demon Edge! He dropped the Demon Edge! The Die Courier! It's gonna be spotted! And picking up the gem. They cannot let this Courier get back to base. They cannot let it get back to base. Era's moving over for it. No Blink Dagger, but that's gonna be a big kill. The gem of True Sight will be dropped again, but more importantly, that Demon Edge can't get back into the hands of, well, whose was it? It belongs to Koifa. It would be replacing the Aegis of the Immortal.
Radiant's bottom tower is
I don't know if he was
under
looking for the Monkey King bar because there's no butterfly over on the Shadow Fiend. That could have just been YOLO. That actually could, in fact, be okay, no. No, Koifa has to spend his money. Yeah, it could be Rapier. It could actually be the Rapier. Templar Assassin, it's okay to work with the Rapier, primarily because you get the Refraction charge that would let you survive a hell of a lot longer. And with that meld, with the Meld Strike that's already hitting and the Desolate, he's got a hell of a lot of damage. You just won't be able to combine it up with the Aegis of the Immortal. You have to wait 2 minutes before we'll get to see, though. Because that Demon Edge is just sitting on the sidelines, unable to be touched. Unison Farm now with 3.8k. Potential Shiva's Guard for him. Would cause a couple of problems for the maneuverability of heroes like TA, Juggernaut, and Axe, which hilariously enough are the 3 cores. And what do we got in Felina? 5.4k gold over on Limp. He's going to get to a point where he has to spend money. Like, this Shadow Blade's only going to be useful for so long. But I think the only time he's going to spend money is when he buys a full Satanic. Just imagine the amount of life you'll be able to steal back again as that Lina. Your survivability during the fights just increases tenfold. But at the same time, you might want to just consider going all YOLO. Buy up that Monkey King bar, because you need to get direct damage into the Juggernaut, as well as the Templar Assassin. Both with Butterfly makes Monkey King bar such a huge item to get. And there's no one buying it at the moment. There's no Demon Edge. But if you look at the amount of gold, current gold is available. 5.6k, 4.3k, 3.5k, 2.7k. Then 900 for Silkid. But there's a lot of money available there. So we hit our 50-minute mark. BT's up for the Sky Wrath Mage. Allows him to be back at all times. We've actually got 3 BTs available for NiP. If that Creep Wave pushes in through the top, you've got the potential just to go for the back door. And I'm talking about going directly for tier 4 towers. I'm not talking about taking out another set of racks, even though that could be possible. That tower at mid lane is pretty injured, and there's no fortification. Alright, what's Koifa up to? How long they got left on that Aegis Immortal? Okay, 1 minute and roughly 5-10 seconds left. So Koifa's quite happy to be aggressive like he is now. Push this wave out as far as he possibly can. And try and hope he doesn't get controlled twice over. This Dire Observer Board also couldn't come at a better time, because the Radiant Courier is now going to respawn. So they do find Koifa. Dodges a concussive shot, but he won't be able to dodge the rest of it. Jump up, Axe. Well, he's sent up in towards the air while Way Too Sexy burn out by the Mystic Flare. Limp turns on the BKB, and they just focus down. Well, there's still that Laguna Blade available. It's going to take away all the life points of Bulba. You're going to jump into the Omni Sub, but he lost vision. The Shadow Blade went up, and there was no way to jump to another target. BS swapping Black M. That's a huge fight for NiP. Oh, it's massive for them. There's everyone has fight. Why? Hey! Pick a gap. It was worth a try. At least gets the buyback out from the Juggernaut, but everyone else is holding on to theirs. And there's that Aegis Immortal gone for Templar Assassin. She can deliver in now this Demon Edge. And we'll see what Koifa has on the mind. Because he has buyback, he won't spend the money, but yes, where's our... He spent it. It's a Monkey King bar. Here's the Monkey King bar. And the surplus on TA will still allow her... Oh, she's 32 gold off buyback. That's okay. That's fine. No surplus. But 52 minutes in, things are going to start to get tense. With Team Tinker 1 racks down, that middle rack is exposed. We got Shiva's Guard is the item up for Limp. Some armor to try and survive Team Tinker's initiation. We still haven't seen Enigma finish up his item. He's up at 5k. And I don't think he's going to, beyond here. But it's just that having the casual plate mail is fine. But this medallion should turn into a refresher orb. And he needs to have the second black hole available. Potentially he could also go for a BKB. There's only going to be two things that could stop him there. If he does get the BKB for the black hole. One of them is Nova, but if you're able to get through a full channel Nova and then still hit the black hole and cancel it in the early stages, then you deserve not to cast that black hole. The second part of it, yeah, there's that medallion gone. Buy some stuff on the courier. He can buy the full refresher right now. I kind of want to see it. Where's he TPing to? All the way down the bottom lane. Keep the farm alive. What is he going if it's not that? He could be going for a scythe. That's the other option. These BKBs are getting pretty low. But even if he comes in a little bit later, so we have a lot to work with. What do we got for the courier? Alright, scythe device for Pile Die. 53 minutes in. We'll see if I was right about this. I said if Pile Die was able to finish up the scythe device, then Team Arena Tinkerina would win. And he's able to get it. We got Fear in chat. Don't judge me too harshly, Fear. Not professional player. You can come and cast game number 2 if you want to. Rip him in. Alright, so NiP, push it, push it. 3.6k gold on Limp. It's all about the buybacks for him. Vengeful Spirit, the only player from NiP that doesn't have a buyback, and all the ones that do have buybacks, yeah, every single one of them has BTs. So next fight for NiP, it's a 9-man engagement. If we're really going to be realistic about this. Because Pilot has sacrificed his buyback for that Hex. He needs to be able to control that Lina, if possible. Hanskin's also rapidly approaching the point of being able to afford up that E-Blade. And actually, that's what your Unison farm is able to buy. So no refresher orb, he just goes directly into the E-Blade. Funny thing is, it doesn't really amplify the Lina anymore. It amplifies the Skywrath Mage, hell yeah. But he can almost afford that item himself. It does stop the Juggernaut from attacking, the same with the Templar Assassin. But if their BKBs are up, like, you have to use it on yourself. So you can't use it aggressively. Era, right on top of that Observer Ward. And look how quickly Team Tinker back up. They're already having trouble dealing with the top lane. Black is not there, so they're not ready to fight. And the dewarding begins. How long until our next... Let me just scroll back in. So, Roshan 30 seconds away. And when he's up, NiP will take it and push out. And Team Tinker, they have to stop them. Fighting up against this NiP lineup with already a whole bunch of them having buybacks. It's like Shadowfiend just spent a little bit more money. Yeah, he's buying up the full Monkey King bar. Sells his Yule Scepter. And we've got our late game Shadowfiend online now. No surplus, still short a little bit of money. But at least got that direct attack in. Wow, okay. No wonder I can't call it when it's the first one ever in competitive Dota. We get an E-Blade onto the Enigma. As Roshan begins. Interested to see who takes what. Because Shadowfiend is now fully slotted. He could drop the Blink Dagger for the Aegis Immortal, which I wouldn't really be against. But that's the only thing. Okay, no, he drops his boots of travel. Well, enjoy your movement speed, Era. Enjoy your movement speed. 335. That bulky mass requires boots to move. Oh, they just use him as a frontline tank. The BTs can be transferred to him during the fight. Or after he dies, obviously. So push it up. That tier 3 tower shouldn't last too long. Pylai Dice try and slow it down as much as he can. That era enjoying that medallion buff up. That range rack doesn't stand a chance. With Mana Style, they have to fortify here, Team Tinker. And also, they have to fight. Get rid of these illusions. The Mana Drain gets rid of one. They need to hold on to that Hex, however, in case there's a jump in. But look at the positioning of Sealkid. He's waiting for them to go on him. And now Black! Too far up! Your buyback is not available. He's down for just under 2 minutes, as well as Bulba. He's going to drop. That might have been the end killer right there, with Black getting caught out once again. Bulba will buy back, but NiP, there's no reason to stop. In fact, Pylai die. Era's trying to shred him apart. He's got the Jaeger, so why not? But Bulba jumping in, he gets the call. But onto what? When Era lets that ulti rip, plus Lion together, Kuiper's going to go down. Waitu's already joined him. The Yule's up in the air, and GG. NiP will take game number 1 in just shy of an hour mark. Terrific Dota from both teams, but at the end of the day, NiP kept finding the openings, and that late game lineup, which I didn't think they had, proved to work in late game. It was wonderfully done. So that's not it yet. We have a full best of 3. So don't you change your channel anywhere. We'll be coming back for game number 2 to see if Team Marino Tinkerino can force a matchup up against Na'Vi. That is the next round, the lower bracket for whoever wins this game. Winner of that game will go into the grand final to face up against either Cloud9 or Team Empire. They are the last team. So the only teams left in the European qualifier right now: Tinker, NiP, Na'Vi, Empire, and C9. Only one of these 5 teams will be able to qualify themselves for ESL One Frankfurt to join the Alliance, as well as VP Polar at the LAN Finals. Who will it be? Well, you can tune in for the next couple of days and you'll find out that who will advance forward from this game. We might find out at the conclusion of the next game. Stay tuned. We'll be back.